let us discuss about let us discuss about psoriasis. Psoriasis. Psoriasis, it is a chronic inflammatory condition. It is a chronic inflammatory condition. Let us see what exactly happens in psoriasis, what causes psoriasis, what is the mechanism of psoriasis. In a normal person, when there is injury or when there is infection, what happens? Inflammation will take place, right? This inflammation will take place when there is injury or when there is infection or when there is invasion by external microorganisms. This inflammation will rescue from injury, right? Will rescue us from injury or infection, and then uh, after killing those microbes or rescuing us from injuries, this inflammation will subside, right? After recovery, this inflammation will subside. But in psoriasis patient, this inflammation will not subside. Okay, inflammation will not subside even after rescue from injury or inflammation will not subside. This inflammation will result in psoriasis. So this especially happens in skin. Okay, when there is trauma to uh, trauma to skin, or when there is infection of skin, this inflammation will start happening, and this inflammation will not subside even after even after killing the microorganisms. So this inflammation will itself causes injury to skin. So see what how it happens. So this is skin, right? When there is injury, inflammation will happen. This inflammation will result in um, pro- will result in appearance of neutrophils, all cytokines, all these things will be released as part of inflammation, right? So in here what happens is, after in the process of inflammation, keratinocytes, which are the cells of epidermis, these keratinocytes will proliferate. Okay, keratinocytes, which are the cells of epidermis, will proliferate. Okay, proliferation of keratinocytes will take place. These newly formed keratinocytes, these are immature immature cells, and they do not adhere to each other perfectly. Okay, adherence will not be to each other, will not be good, or will not be perfect, we can say. They do not adhere to each other perfectly. That means they 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 will not adhere to each other, so that it results in separation of cells, right? This is called acantholysis. And one more is, these keratinocytes, they produce excess keratin. They produce excess keratin. So all these things happens in psoriasis. So as they are not adherent to each other, it results in scale formation. As they are not adherent to each other well, so it results in scale formation. See, as it is inflammatory condition, so there will be erythema. So as I told you, as the cells are not adherent to each other well, so it results in scaling. these scales are these scales are silvery white in color. Okay, they are silvery white in color. This especially these lesions will be present on external surfaces. Okay, the lesions that we see in psoriasis are erythematous plaques. Erythematous plaques. These plaques will be covered by silvery white scales. Okay, these erythematous plaques will be covered by silvery white scales. These are present on external surfaces, and they can also be present on scalp, palms, soles as well. Okay, this is the basic mechanism how psoriasis will results. Then we'll start the definition. The definition of the disease is: it is a chronic inflammatory condition with multiple immunological, genetic, and environmental defects causing erythematous plaques with silvery white scaling. So as I told you, it is a chronic inflammatory condition, right? So in this disorder there is involvement of environmental factors, genetic factors, genetic factors, and immunological factors as well, because it is there is some defect in inflammation, right? So we can there is necessarily there will be defects in immunology. Okay, all these things results in erythematous erythematous plaques which are covered by silvery white scales. Okay, this is about the definition. Then we will see the psoriasis various types of psoriasis. Before going to types, there are certain predisposing factors to this disease. Predisposing factors, the factors are HLA-CW6. HLA-CW6, these predispose to juvenile psoriasis. It predisposes to juvenile psoriasis. Okay, HLA-CW6, it predisposes to juvenile psoriasis. And one more is HLA-B27. It predisposes to psoriatic arthritis. We'll discuss what psoriatic arthritis in a meanwhile, but remember, HLA-B27, it predisposes to psoriatic arthritis or pustular psoriasis. Okay, HLA-B27, it predisposes to two types of psoriasis. One is psoriatic arthritis and other is pustular psoriasis. Actually, these are complications of psoriasis. Remember, we will discuss this in a meanwhile, but remember this, these are actually complications of psoriasis. Okay, this is about predisposing factor. Then moving to types. One is, the first one we have is psoriasis vulgaris. Psoriasis vulgaris. In this, as I told you, the lesions are erythematous plaques with silvery white scales present on especially extensor surfaces. The sites mainly involve knee, elbow, back, and even scalp involvement will also be there. Scalp, palm, and even sole also. Okay, in all these sites we'll see psoriasis vulgaris. And the second type is, actually this is the main type, and other types are, the second one is scalp psoriasis. Scalp psoriasis, here only scalp will be involved, only scalp will be involved. Here in psoriasis vulgaris, knee, elbow, back, scalp, palm and soles are involved, but whereas in scalp psoriasis only scalp will be involved. And third one is palmoplantar psoriasis. Palmoplantar psoriasis, here palms and soles will be involved. And fourth one is gut gutted psoriasis. Gutted psoriasis. In gutted psoriasis, what happens is it's especially happens in children, especially in children. Here this psoriasis will occur after upper respiratory tract infection. After upper respiratory tract infection, this gutted psoriasis will happen. Okay, so actually this question has been asked in entrance exams. So the question was, the child suffered from upper respiratory tract infection and he actually recovered from that infection. After that he developed some lesions over chest, uh, and trunk. And what is the diagnosis? The diagnosis is gutted psoriasis. Okay, and one more is, fifth one is rheumatoid psoriasis. Rheumatoid psoriasis. In rheumatoid psoriasis, what happens is the scales are very adherent to each other. In rheumatoid psoriasis, the scales are strictly adherent to each other. So scales are adherent to each other very strictly, very adherent to each other very strongly. So this gives appearance like this, like conical appearance. Conical scales will be seen, like this appearance will be seen because they are adherent to each other. Okay, then moving to, these are the types. Then moving to clinical features. Clinical features. Here we have to know certain tests and signs. Especially the first test is Grattage test. Grattage test. Let us see what is this test. Grattage test. So suppose this is lesion, right? This is lesion and this is covered by scales, right? What we do in this test is we'll take a slide. And using this slide we'll try to remove the scales. We'll try to remove the scales. As we go on removing scales, the number of scales that are coming will increase as we remove. Okay, the number of scales coming will increase. So this test is called Grattage test. Okay, the number of scales will increase as we go on removing the scales with the help of slide. Okay, this is about Grattage test. And one more test is palm candle grease sign. Candle grease sign. In candle grease sign, what we do here is, in grad tests what we did is we'll try to remove the scales with the help of slide. Okay, right? So here also we'll go on removing the scales. The last layer of scales that are adherent to the skin. The last layer of scales that are adherent to the skin will come like a wax, like a dried wax. Okay, if you remove a dried wax on a surface, how it comes as a whole, wax will come as a whole, right? So similarly these scales will come as a whole. The last layer that is adherent to the skin will come as a whole, as a entire body. Okay, this is about candle grease sign. And third sign is third is, you see, if we go if we remove that if we remove the last scale, then we'll see the surface of skin, right? In the surface of skin, what we see is some we'll see some petechiae, some bleeding sites. Okay, we'll see some petechiae. This petechiae are, we have given separate name for that. Let me tell you, this sign is called Aspid's sign. Okay, this sign is called Aspid's sign. Here what we did is, we removed the entire scales, right, with the help of slide. So at the last we'll see the surface of skin, right? On the surface we'll see petechiae like this, small pinpoint bleeding sites. Pinpoint bleeding sites will be there. Bleeding sites, this is called Aspis sign. Remember, this is A. Okay, so there are three important signs: Gratestes, candle grease sign, Aspis sign. Okay, this is about the signs. Then we'll see the clinical features now. First we'll see histology. In histology what we do is, so I told you there is proliferation of keratinocytes, right? Keratinocytes, these keratinocytes, they retain nucleus. This is called parakeratosis. This retention of nucleus in keratinocytes, that means the newly formed keratinocytes, is called parakeratosis. Okay, the second is, there will be absence of stratum corneum. Absence of stratum corneum. Okay, stratum corneum will not be there. Then one more is acanthosis. Acanthosis means increased thickness of stratum spinosum. This thickness is due to, as I told you, the cells will separate because they are not perfectly adherent to each other. Okay, so this results in increased thickness of stratum spinosum. And dermal vessels will be dilated, as it is inflammatory condition. Definitely there will be increase in dilation of dermal vessels will be dilated. And one more is, this is the skin, right? So this, there is increase in the papillae like this. So due to this increase or enlargement of papillae, there will be thinning of the surface above the papillae. Okay, the the part above the papillae will get thickened. So this is called suprapapillary thickening. This is called suprapapillary thickening. Sorry, suprapapillary thinning. Suprapapillary thinning. These are the, and one more sign is Mundo, sub, Mundo's microabscesses. The reason is, you see, this is skin, right? What happens is, there is infiltration by neutrophils. So these neutrophils will result in formation of microabscesses. These are called Munro's microabscesses. Munro's micro abscesses. These are the signs or the histology part of psoriasis. Now we'll see the complications of psoriasis. Complications of psoriasis.